That's on. Just clapping the mics, that's on. Phone's on silent. Just make sure that's...
Do you ever look at the camera at all then?
No, not really. No, not at all really. Just talk to ourselves sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we release it on Instagram and...
So I'll put some what I'll do, I'll put some shorter, like the reels.
Yeah.
So I'll break some stuff down into reels.
That's cool.
So like any what do they call it? Bite-sized content I can use that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it looks quite good when you use we just do it as it is, like the landscape, because with things with portrait, it fucks the quality.
True.
Not unless, because the only other thing I'd like to do is get 2 or 3 cameras and then have them like dotted around, and then you can capture like portraits and landscapes.
Oh yeah, because I've seen that on a few podcasts. Yeah. Close up and you've got like.
Yeah, that would be sick.
As a studio.
It took enough to set this up with one camera. Imagine.
Yeah, but it could be like a full-time thing.
True.
You're doing like lots of regular.
Yeah, because there is money to be made in podcasts and that. I think if you can like get into the right market and stuff, you do the right thing. Right, should we do it? What 45 minutes?
Yeah. I'm nervous.
I'm nervous. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Cars and Cuppas podcast. So before I get into this amazing podcast with David Meylan, where we talk about his watch brand, Olivier Meylan, along with some business talk and some car talk, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about some updates that are happening with Cars and Cuppas over the next couple of months. So we've got events as normal on every third Sunday of the month. So the next one is a week today on February the 18th at Greendale Farm Shop. And next one after that is March the 17th. A little exclusive one for you guys and girls that are listening and watching the Cars and Cuppas podcast. April marks the year anniversary that Cars and Cuppas have been around. So what I thought I'd do is create something a little bit different for this event. We're going to actually be doing our first Supercar Sunday. So we're going to get a few local traders involved, some automotive businesses and some car dealerships, such as Cars Ferrari and whoever else we can get involved for the April event. We also want to hopefully get a special guest to appear and do some sort of meet and greet type stuff. So more will be confirmed on that over the next couple of months. But we're planning a really good and big meet for the April one to mark the year anniversary of Cars and Cuppas. So that's a little exclusive one to the watchers and listeners of the podcast. This information hasn't gone anywhere else. So you are the first people to know about that. Also got some amazing podcast guests lined up from racing drivers, police officers, automotive business owners. So yeah, it's going to be a cool year for Cars and Cuppas. We're going to be taking the podcast here, there and everywhere, not just doing Exeter. We want to take podcasts to London, Manchester, Birmingham and all of them places, just to see where it goes. Got some other cool, exciting news that's going to be happening over the next couple of months. More will be revealed on that very, very shortly. So yeah, that's all the updates for Cars and Cuppas for now. Let's get into the podcast with David Meylan. Right, Dave, welcome to the podcast. Do you prefer being called Dave or David? I didn't ask you that actually.
Either or's fine, mate.
Either or.
Yeah.
So, people are joining us in your office for Olivier Meylan, your watch brand.
Yeah.
Obviously, we want to try and get you involved more with Cars and Cuppas a little bit. I know you're into cars. Obviously, you've got a watch brand. I know there's a few people who have come to Cars and Cuppas that are invested into the watch brand.
Yes, yeah.
And I thought it'd be quite cool just to chat with you, learn a little bit more about the watch brand and just find out what's going on with Olivier Meylan.
Thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you on. It's been taking a little while to get each other in one place at one time. Yeah. We've both been manic.
Busy boys.
You've got a couple of things going on. I've got a couple of things going on, but you joined us on a Friday evening. We got there in the end. It took us a little while to set up the podcast.
We can end it with a beer.
Yeah.
No,
Gonna need something. So if you'd just like to tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Olivier Meylan.
Yeah, so Olivier Meylan launched it during the pandemic. So we're into our 4th year now. Exciting brand. Love watches. I'm half Swiss. I've always had this kind of fascination with watches, and obviously I've got a lot of watchmaking heritage in the family and whatever else. And I just felt like one day I would always like to, launch a brand.
So you said in your family, was there like your dad or your dad's dad doing watches?
Yeah, so
in
my
the past?
dad's dad, my grandfather was a watchmaker and obviously was Swiss in the Vallée de Joux, which is like the watch capital of the world. So that's where all of my PIGUET are based, and the 5 big ones really. And yeah, he died before I was born, so I unfortunately never got to meet him. But watchmaker, did his apprenticeship in the Valley Joux, and yeah, kind of went from there. And obviously I've had this fascination with it, but the actual idea behind it was, my background is events and the sort of entertainment industry. So I pretty much my whole working life, my whole adult working life has been in the entertainment industry.
How did you get to that? Was you a bit of a party boy?
Just a bit of a sort of, yeah, Eminem wannabe, really. Yeah, no, seriously, I just like loved hip hop and music and the industry. My mum's a singer, well, was a singer. She's sort of retired from singing.
No way, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she sort of did all the local pub circuit
good
and
on.
stuff like that. And yeah, I sort of spent my life in pubs and clubs.
Did you grow up in Exeter?
I've sort of moved around all over the place. I was born in London, but I lived in Switzerland for 9 years. So moved to Switzerland when I was about 2. And then
That was a mad experience, wasn't it?
yeah, no, it was cool. It was a good experience, a good time in my life. Yeah, so we moved there when I was a kid. My dad sort of launched a business out there, and we kind of started with nothing out there and gave it a go, and he did really well with it. And yeah, I think like it was a 2-year plan that turned into 9 years, and I went to school there and stuff. Things kind of didn't go to plan at the end. There was a few issues, which ended up in us moving back to England. And then I think I was like maybe year 6 at school or something. So I lived like 1 year of primary school here, and then yeah. So but yeah, just the love sort of for the music industry really, and just like being involved in in the industry in general. And I had this fascination with wanting to be somehow in the industry, but like living in Devon, there isn't many opportunities. There isn't many people knocking on your door to like give you a record deal or work backstage or whatever. So yeah, so I literally just hustled and knocked on doors. I wrote to record labels and Death Row Records,
No way.
Rockefeller Records, just trying to just for like a work experience thing. I just wanted to do something in that industry and just not have your typical 9 to 5.
So was you rapping in that or anything like that?
No, not at all. I mean, I wish I could. I'd like rap to save my life. Yeah, I just kind of like wanted to, have an involvement in the industry. So I had to find my place. So because I couldn't rap or sing, I started DJing. So that DJing kind of step gave me the step into the industry. And again, I was like, well, where am I going to DJ around here? Especially like specific like hip hop and R&B DJ that I tried. And then went to Cyprus. Napa did a couple of seasons out there, just loved it.
Yeah, I bet it was insane.
I was meant to do like a couple of months, and I ended up staying out there for 3 years, I think. So I literally did 3 years of that, loved it, met a lot of really good contacts. Basically just managed to live the dream, like just being a hip hop and R&B DJ.
That's class.
Hanging out in clubs and partying in the Mediterranean. It was cool.
What age were you at that point?
So I did that when I was 19.
Yeah, that's a good age to do it.
Yeah. So it was like it was like the kind of perfect kind of opportunity to earn money doing what I loved and sort of trying to build up a little career out of it. So from DJing, I went on to putting on my own nights and became a bit of a promoter.
Yeah.
Came back to the UK, put on some of my own nights, and then that then turned into a bit of an agency where I was then doing tours with acts and then representing bigger names and whatever else. So yeah, it kind of went full circle, and essentially, I knocked on a lot of doors. No one really gave me the opportunity, but I kind of created it.
Yeah.
And then years later, I ended up, working with Snoop Dogg and stuff. And
ironically,
insane. That was kind of what I wanted to do from the get-go, but it just took like a bit of a longer route.
Yeah, it's gone full circle. Yeah.
And then moving forward into like the watch world, funnily enough, as much as I've got the watch heritage and the background, which one day I wanted to like tap into because it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Sort of died with my granddad, and he was a watchmaker. He didn't own a brand or anything. It was working with acts, Snoop Dogg in particular, actually, that I suddenly realised like how the culture had shifted a little bit to the point where, product and social media influencing became such a big thing.
Yeah.
So suddenly, I was doing shows with Snoop Dogg, and I was getting approached by what should have been promoters booking him for a set. Instead, it was being approached for Snoop Dogg to endorse a T-shirt line or a teeth whitening or like, you know, all these. And I just thought, imagine, you know, if I had a product and I've got all these contacts I've built up over the last 15 years, 20 years, you know, I could get the products into the hands of the right people, because I'm getting approached by people with products to get
that
to
contact
those
list
people.
is huge, isn't it? If you can gain contacts like that, you're literally right, the foot's in the door straight away, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And I just felt like, you know, that if anything, it's, you know, it's not much of a CV, but it's kind of, it's the contacts that I've built up and the networking and the, you know, putting the years of work into getting to know people, that's kind of, that paid off. That was kind of what I took from it. So I thought, you know, if I had a product, I could get it to these people. Loved watches, and started looking into the idea of it. And then the pandemic hit, and the events industry fell apart, hospitality fell apart, everything fell apart. And I found myself just sitting there, you know, just had my second child at the time. And I'm thinking, well, everything that I put all my life into is gone for now. We don't know how long for. How long is the pandemic going to drag on for? Is hospitality ever going to come back? Are we ever going to be allowed to?
Sketchy time, wasn't it?
Weird time.
I tried to think what it was like for you in that position as well.
Well, it was literally, all I remember is just sitting there thinking, right, well, I have no income from any of this anymore. And all I'm doing is refunding people for events that couldn't happen because of the pandemic. So it was kind of like the riskiest and scariest time, but also maybe the best time for a new, you know, a new avenue, a new kind of business, if you like. So took the gamble, launched it, got some great people on board. You know, the great memories really, like, because to have launched a brand at a time where, you know, we weren't really allowed to like meet people and hard to create content. Yeah, so it was.
There's so many rules and regulations, wasn't there? What you can and can't do and stuff.
Yeah, you just couldn't keep up with it, could you?
I mean,
it was like 1 minute you were allowed to go for a walk, then you weren't, and then you know, it was. But then you were allowed. There was a time where you were allowed to meet for work.
Yeah.
And at this time, Jack Noel got on board when we launched the Jack Noel edition, which was one of the first.
How did you come about meeting Jack Noel? Was you always into Chiefs and rugby beforehand?
Yeah, developed a good friendship with Jack, and you know, we kind of. I guess we probably crossed paths through like the club industry, and, like, you know, sorting out the Chief Boys tickets to events and stuff like that. And no, he was great. You know, he put a lot of time into it, and I kind of pitched to him. I was like, you know, I'm bringing out this watch brand. Just want to get you involved somehow if it's something you're interested in. And had the idea of doing like a Jack Noel edition. Yeah. And it was all kind of at that sketchy kind of pandemic time where we could kind of meet but stay outside, and we were shooting stuff at his house. You know,
I remember seeing it all.
Yeah.
Did you do some stuff down Exmouth and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, and then that was later down the line. Jack got some of the boys on board: Henry Slade, Luke Cowan-Dickey, Dave Ewers. Shout out to all them. They all got on board, and they were, you know, amazing, really. But they've all got like sick motorbikes.
Yeah, I think that's what took my eye initially. I seen all the bikes, and then obviously realised that they were doing this like watch shoot.
That's it. Well, we had to do a separate shoot with Slady because he doesn't have a bike. so Dickie, Dave, and Jack have got like unbelievable bikes. Yeah. I don't know the models, but I know they're cool.
Yeah, they are cool.
So we did a shoot down in Topsham, and that was really cool. But the first bike shoot we did was with Jack's bike at his house. Right. So it was kind of a case of, well, you know, what can we create out of nothing? You know, we can't really go anywhere. So I managed to get a photographer to come out, and you know, we just shot.
Yeah, it looks a bit bait if you're in like lockdown and you're riding around on motorbikes with videographers and photographers.
Yeah. So it was it was kind of, but it made it exciting. And like looking back, I think it's more of a so it's a better memory. Yeah. It's like, actually, we turned something negative into a positive. Yeah. It was a tough time, but we made it work, and the brand sort of grown from there. And you know, I then started tapping into the contacts that I'd made previously to see if I could get people wearing my watches. You know, this is something I've dreamt up. I've designed all the watches. I've designed the brand. I've done every part. What
did it take to like get it up and running, like to design all the watches and stuff like that? Did you have contacts who could do all that sort of stuff, or was it literally just a case of
I mean, I think like sort of marketing and design and stuff is kind of my stronger point. Yeah. So I was kind of like, well, if I can sell club tickets or, you know, festival tickets and design flyers and stuff, it kind of felt there was a synergy there for me to be able to design anything really and market anything. So I kind of started on what I think is cool and what's trending and what watches I like, and asking people what they like and finding out a bit more about what people want. But I've just done it all in smaller steps. Yeah. Do you know Do you know what I mean? Rather
Yeah.
than try and rush into, right, shit, we've got to have like, 10 collections and bring out thousands of watches and go massive straight away. I'm just like, well, do you know
Quality
what?
over quantity at the minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just bring out a small collection. Hopefully people will like them, build from there. And then that's how, like, the Jack Noel edition watch came out, gave me an opportunity to bring out a couple of watches in that collection. Jack Noel edition watch was really popular. People loved it. We did it. They're all limited edition releases, so we never re-released them. And it creates a bit of a second-hand value for it, because there's a lot
scarcity
of
of not owning that watch, so there's less numbers. People want that, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. It's like the minute it's sold out is when people want it more.
Yeah.
But it was more about just trying to make it unique, because ultimately, like, there's so much choice out there. Like, if you wanted a new watch tomorrow, where would you start?
True.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you might wander into one of the jewelers in the high street, and once you do that, there's 10, 15 different brands.
100%.
But you might link it to, oh, I've seen this person wear this watch, and then it's price point. So I know I'm dabbling in quite a big industry, and it's going to be a competitive one. But I feel like we're onto something, and I feel like we've got something to offer. We've got great heritage. We've got family links to Audemars Piguet. Down the line, obviously, with descendants, it's quite.
That's class, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one that you may not even know about if you didn't look into your family tree, but because in that part of Switzerland, it's quite an intertwined family. Like, they're all kind of linked in some way. But I sort of realised that, like, my great grandmother on my dad's side was an Audemars, and my great grandmother is a Piguet. So I'm linked to both sides of the family there, and they're like my dream watch brand, if you like. But they're also technically, like, there's a family link through marriage over the years. And then obviously my granddad.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. And I've never really been able to kind of like get that story out there. To be honest.
That's cool.
I haven't wanted to hang everything on that.
Yeah.
And say, oh, we're linked to some big names. But I think hopefully people that are into their watches, that like the brand, will then look into it and go, actually, there's some real strong, genuine heritage here.
Yeah, it's class.
So it's kind of exciting, really. But kind of just growing it from there and bringing out new collections. And
how many watches you got in the collection at the minute?
That's a good question.
I should have got you to learn the facts and figures.
That's a good point. I think like maybe 14, 15,
Is there?
something like that. Yeah, it's not a huge amount.
Still
but
good though, isn't it? Yeah.
We've sort of slowly kind of added to it, and now we're thinking like, we should probably about time we do another ladies' watch. We haven't done one for a while.
What does it take to like design each watch, and like is it a case of you design it, you build it, you tweak it, you go back to the drawing boards, or is it like you design it and that's the final?
Yeah, it really is like a back and forth. Come up with an idea, dream it up. I like the look of this. This is a really popular watch or color scheme at the moment, like the gold and green Players Edition. Gold and green's just in at the moment, so it's really cool to do a gold and green one. And that the Players Edition was based on the four rugby lads 10-year testimonial. And I said to the lads, well, what watch would you wear? Like, what's your sort of style?
Yeah.
And they kind of like the gold and green thing. So we built other variants off of the back of that to give more choice.
It's class.
And ultimately a lot of it is I just dream up an idea.
It's cool, isn't it?
Start like kind of drawing it and then sending it to, like, we've got like obviously a tech team, if you like, with the manufacturing, and sort of say, right, I want to do this, and this. Then we redraw it again, and then we kind of get to the point where I'm like, I think that's
it's
right.
Cool that like a business like that has been founded and started from Exeter, because businesses like that don't really start from places in Devon, do they?
No, it's true. Yeah, it's but in a way, I feel like that's it's helped a little bit being local, and I maybe I didn't tap into that in the early days, but I suddenly realised that there was quite a focus on, like, people really liked the fact it was a local brand. A lot of the people that supported us were local and loved the fact that we were local. And actually, I need to do more with that, because we are an English brand. Although we're a Swiss heritage English brand, so we're a UK-based company, but we use Swiss parts, and the story is Swiss.
It's cool as well because the watches are so well priced as well, aren't they? They're so affordable for people.
Thanks, mate.
They're not not ridiculous, are they?
No,
maybe one day in the future you'll probably be charging a lot more.
Well, to be honest, like, I think that's we've kept them accessible, and affordable, and that was kind of my idea with it. I wanted to be able to bring out a watch that was a step above a fashion watch, that you just wore that was, you know, a cheap watch that just looks cool, but then you buy another one next month.
Yeah.
But something that wasn't getting expensive, so people could like afford it. You know? But equally make them limited edition, make them unique in different ways. Like the latest watch we brought out is, you know, using like meteorite on the dial.
Yeah.
Again, it was an expensive thing to do. But
I think I've seen the video for that.
Yeah.
It's a class video.
Yeah, it was really
cool video.
That was pretty cool actually. I was really pleased with how that came out. Yeah, that was sort of far exceeded my expectation actually.
Did you plan that video?
Actually, shout out to Foliage Creative. They're based in Cornwall. They smashed it. He's really good at what he does, Josh. And yeah, essentially, I just kind of gave him a bit of a vision.
And
I'm a bit creative like that, a bit of a perfectionist, and I have an idea in my head. It's a bit like when we've done photo shoots. I'm not a photographer, but I know what I think.
You start up moving people around and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I just sort of think actually let's go with this. But I also just let him do his thing because he's like, he just blew me away with it, and I was like, you know, it's a space kind of vibe theme to it. It's made of meteorite. You know, what can we do? And it just kind of like works as magic.
I'll try and put up the video on top of this video, so
Yeah,
people can see what we're talking about, because that video was class.
that'd be really good. Yeah,
it was class.
Introducing the GM19, a cosmic tale unfolding. Inspired by celestial wonders, it transcends time. It's an odyssey. The exhibition caseback, unveiling the Swiss-made 25-joule mechanical movement, a workhorse with a 38-hour power reserve. It's a 42mm rose gold structure. Brushed stainless steel meets rose gold PVD coating. Substantial, yet sleek, at 9.5 millimeters thin. Picture this: a meteorite dial, a relic of space, transformed after crossing galaxies, now adorning your wrist. Mysterious, architectural, and exceptionally rare. 8 Swiss superluminova hour markers, each representing a planet in our system, a subtle nod to the skies above. The GM19, where time, precision, and the infinite converge.
What's your future plans with it then? Are you looking at scaling it?
Look, I want to scale it. Yeah, I think, you know, long term dream plan obviously is to make it a household name.
Yeah,
you know, and make it compete with the big names out there.
You've got a good following so far. Also, check you're on like 20 odd K, aren't you?
Yeah,
Probably
I think about 20, 26. I think.
Yeah, nearly 30K, which is cool.
Yeah,
it's got a big following.
It's a lot of work though.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money that's gone into it.
Well, to be honest though, it's like a full time. The social media element is like, it takes up most of the time of the business. That is the sort of main part of it. And in a way, that was kind of like my strategy. It was like, let's make a good presence online.
Social media is key, isn't it? I think there's a lot of businesses, especially local. I don't know what it's a bit of Devon thing, that don't utilise social media as much as probably what they should.
Yeah.
Because like with Cars and Cuppas, I say this to Felix. So Felix does all like you might have watched the podcast with him. Yeah, he's very quiet, but like him doing all the photos and videos of Cars and Cuppas and stuff like that, I don't think it would be as successful as it is without all of that. Exactly, yeah.
It's true. I mean, it's kind of everything now.
Yeah. I don't think there's some people like using it as much as what they should.
And it's important, you know, ultimately it's like the main factor of most businesses. Because
obviously watches are so Instagrammable.
They are.
Isn't it?
Yeah, they are. And funny enough,
that is Instagram, isn't it?
It's
watches luxury
hard.
lifestyle.
Yeah, it's also hard at the same time though to sort of, because there's only so many wrist shots. You can do. So you end up trying to do like the lifestyle, like we did with Josh. HODGE. Recently we did the shoot with at Limpston Manor. Had a nice Ferrari in that.
We were talking about this off camera, wasn't we? About the Ferrari, because we're saying also because you're doing a little bit more with Lewis at Chasing Cars now, aren't you?
Yeah, Chasing Cars. Shout out to them.
He got his. I was saying to you off camera, he got his Roma down, didn't he?
He did.
But I was a little bit disappointed because I thought all the cars he's got, and he gave you the Roma. I thought he could have gave you.
I was impressed. But I haven't seen all of his collection. I know he's got a nice collection. But I think he was being quite technical. I think he was thinking about the color scheme.
Right.
So on this watch is the one we did the shoot with.
Yeah.
It's got a meteorite dial, which is kind of like that silvery, bluey
color.
And I think he had that in mind for that shot.
Right.
And obviously Josh, just like, he was the good-looking guy. He looks the part. Looks better than me behind this. So like combined, it was just an awesome shoot. Tying in nice cars, nice locations, with pro athletes, and
It's class. 'Cause it gets everyone involved, isn't it?
Yeah,
Literally gets everyone involved.
it was
That's
really
what I thought. Like, obviously, with Cars and Cuppas, I messaged you before about getting you, hopefully, try and get you involved more with it.
When
I
is
think
the
like
next one?
watches. Next one is February the 18th. So it's always on every third Sunday of the month. So the only thing at the minute, like, say if we wanted to get you down and you wanted to display a couple of things, it's a bit cold and it's a bit wet, and so it's probably more of like a summer thing.
Flag up, yeah. But I love to get involved, and I love what you're doing. I think that, you know, I love my cars. I love it, again, it's local.
Yeah. Because like watches and cars and business and all that sort of stuff, like I said to you, it all sort of ties in, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
like
think
people
it does,
love that all, and that's like you with Josh getting the photo with the car and stuff like that. It all just ties in.
Yeah, it does. I think there's a good synergy between all of it, and I think that's why it creates good content.
Yeah.
And again, it's almost a bit like you're creating the feel, you're selling the feel, rather than, you know, if you keep putting up pictures of just a watch shot,
Yeah.
even if it's a really nice watch, it becomes boring.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're selling like the lifestyle and the feel of it, it's a little bit more engaging. I think it's worth looking at a little
Well,
bit
if
more.
you need cars, we've got enough cars to take
I was gonna
photos.
say, you put me up. To be honest, I
Depending
think
what cars you need.
no, honestly, I think it'd be great to do a collaborative kind of shoot. Or
That'd be cool actually.
It just makes.
We'll get you a proper car, not a Roma.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to drive it. I think Josh
Did you not?
moved it about a metre, I think.
Because I forget, Josh is only young, isn't he? He's only like 22 or something like that.
You might struggle to insure that, I think.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, no, I need to see what Lewis has got coming
Yeah,
up.
it's.
I think he sold it actually the day after the shoot.
Yeah, you're saying that.
I
Yeah.
was a bit gutted. He was like, "Yeah, it's the last time we're ever see it." So yeah, and that was
Probably a good read. I like the Roma, but he's got some other cool cars that I reckon would make some good photos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I need to see them all actually.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen all of his cars, but
They're all spread out here, there, and everywhere. But
yeah.
He's got
he's got like a Fiat 500 or something. Like, what's that little
Fiat Panda? Yeah.
Fiat Panda. I didn't think that would work in the shoot as well.
Yeah, you don't want that. It probably won't make it to the shoot anyway. He actually rang me up about that the other day. He's saying about he's buying this Panda or whatever, and I was just like, what are you buying this for? Because he's got a little Fiat.
Is it like classic? Is it collectible or something?
No, it's nothing special about it. And that's not me just saying it. It's just nothing special about it.
Just a Fiat.
It's because he bought this Fiat Sequento Flamento thing,
I remember
which
those.
is like it's a Michael Schumacher edition.
Oh, okay.
So it's got Michael Schumacher stickers on it basically, and it's got his touch on it. And I think his plan is obviously Michael Schumacher's in a long-term coma at the minute. He's going to die at one point, so that car's probably going to.
Collectible.
I don't know who's really going to want a Fiat Sequento Flamento thing, Michael Schumacher edition, but I'm sure there's a market
it's
for
nice
something.
and neat. You can just tuck it away in the garage and not worry about it.
Yeah, but I think that's why he's bought the Panda now. I think he's just buying every Fiat that's around.
Oh, I didn't realise that. So he's got a couple of the little.
So yeah, he's got that Fiat Michael Schumacher edition. Then he's going to buy the Panda.
We need to get him on the show, I think.
Yeah, we were saying this off camera,
I
but
think he'd be good.
he's just not. I just always call him chasing cars. So I don't think sometimes he likes his name being called.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know what he'd be like in camera. But imagine talking about his car collection.
Yeah.
I seeing his car collection would be pretty cool.
He knows his
But saying he's
stuff.
got his dad's got what's that, an 812, which is tailor made, and you'd love it because in terms of details and stuff like that, the car is absolutely phenomenal. Like the leather has been matched to the suitcase of. I think it was a previous owner. It was ordered from someone else, and the guy had a suitcase, like a Louis suitcase or something like that, and the leather's matching the suitcase, which is pretty mad. So
that is cool.
like that in terms of details, like with watches and stuff like that, I think that'd be
100%.
That'd be phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, we're in talks of doing a little bit more, collaborating on a few little projects, and with Josh as well, just trying to come up with some, I just think like all the local entrepreneurial business-minded people need to like stick together.
Yeah, 100%. Because Exeter's a small place, isn't it? And it'd be good to try and get involved with.
There's not enough people doing it. It's so easy to fall into that trap of just doing like you're kind of falling into a pattern of your job and your hobby or whatever, and it's not always healthy. Like I don't really have much of a life. It's not really depressing. No, but I'm
exactly the same.
Yeah. I'm like a workaholic, and my hobby it becomes my work. Do you know? I get excited about working on doing fun stuff like this, and just working on a new deal or taking on a new project. But then it's that, and I'm being a dad.
You forget about all that sort of stuff.
And obviously I've working in the entertainment industry. I've done my fair share of like partying and events and stuff, which I still dabble in. But it's
So you're still going to get involved with the events side of it? Are you still doing the little bits and bobs?
Yeah, not as much. Obviously we do a lot on Exeter, a lot of good
You might be able to
student
give me
club
some
nights.
pointers on how to run cars and Cuppas and thinking about it. I don't know
Yeah,
why I
well,
didn't ask
it's
before.
not easy though, is it? Like it's a changing industry, you know, and selling tickets as a whole isn't easy.
Yeah, exactly.
For anything.
Yeah, and there's so much involved with it. You think there's the tickets, insurance, all that sort of stuff. There's so
Yeah,
much that goes
100%.
into it. Council get involved, police get involved. Everyone just gets involved
There's
with
all the
everything.
boring shit that no
It's
one
all-
sees.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I kind of learned, you know, over time the hard way. Because for me, it was all about having the contacts, having a lot of experience working with artists, and thinking, right, well, how cool would it be to bring, you know, whoever to Exeter, Snoop Dogg,
Yeah.
or someone, and then when you try and put on a bigger scale event, suddenly it's risk assessments, and
Yeah.
safety, and
Yeah.
portaloos,
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. But
Yeah, because that's the thing with Cars and Covers, because it runs every month. They almost want to see like a fresh event management plan every month, but it's the same location, it's the same event.
yeah, it's just,
So it's just like, just give them the same one, but
just
it's
jumping through hoops to have fun. You know,
exactly, yeah.
but someone's got to do it. You know, it's one of those things. And you know, I've had some events that have gone a bit wrong, and I suddenly realised actually it's important to have certain things in place,
Yeah,
set the right people.
you'd
there and
rather
stuff.
go through the effort of messing around with that sort of stuff, providing all the information, and if something does go wrong, and then
Yeah.
you get a heavy fine or whatever it may
It's a
be.
contingency plan,
Yeah.
backup or something.
So I've got a question for you then, because obviously you're massively involved in events. Obviously you've been looking at Cars and Cuppas from the outside.
Yeah.
What would you have any recommendations on what we can do to make it better from just visually looking on the outside? So like the structure of it at the minute, it's a it's called Cars and Cuppas, obviously. It's a cars and coffee inspired event where we've got like about 200 cars. They basically come down for the breakfast. So it's between 9 and 1, which I might change it to 9 and 12 actually, because a lot of people come between 9 and 11.
Okay.
Basically come down, drive to us, park up, have breakfast, communicate, connect with all the other local petrol heads, and then they just go again. So it's not like a car show, but we get traders
Yeah.
and that involved. We get local businesses involved. We've had Mercedes down, we've had Tesla down.
Well, that's a great start.
Yeah, stuff like that's
Definitely
cool.
getting local businesses to support it. But I think, you know, branding looks really good, and it's a great venue, isn't it? I think that's
Yeah,
a really,
green
like,
that-
good
yeah.
central location,
Yeah.
and there's space for loads of cars, and I don't know. I'll definitely have a think about it. I just think you could probably really scale it. It
Yeah,
could probably be something that, you know, as it becomes popular, or even more popular than it is now, and you get more and more people wanting to come, you know, do you start getting vendors in? Do you start having a bar there, and, you know,
Yeah.
selling food and merch and
your merch would be cool. It's the only thing, because obviously it's like, so do you know Greendale Farm Shop? That's
Yeah,
how
I
you've
go
been-
quite a bit,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously they've got all their food, so they provide all the food and stuff. So we can't really dabble too much
True.
with that.
Greenie will probably hate me for saying that. but-
Yeah, I'm gonna get slaughtered now.
Just move to another venue.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I guess.
but merchandise and stuff, I think.
merchandise would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to get involved a bit more with the merchandise type stuff, because everyone loves a T-shirt, and that, don't they?
Honestly, people love a T-shirt.
Because I suppose like with like going back to the watches, like if you've done like chucked in a free T-shirt every now and then, people love that sort of stuff because they
They
can
do.
chuck it up on their Instagram and stuff like
I
that.
really do. And like we brought out some hats and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
you
I've seen that. It's cool that.
people really
Yeah.
like that, and I think obviously it's great branding for you.
Yeah, because it's nice that
are
people are
advertising
representing the brand.
100%.
As long as they're representing in a good way and not like
Yeah,
out doing stupid stuff.
true. Well, to be honest, we've been going through like getting our trademarks and stuff sorted out, and you know, we've got the OM trademark for clothing, because I think
Yeah.
eventually it's not going to become a clothing.
What is it?
brand.
Is that just OM or Olivier Meylan?
But both. So
Both.
the OM is kind of like, you know, like on the hat.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, quite a clear logo
Yeah.
on the front. But then the Olivier Meylan logo as a full. I don't know. I just think there's a market for it. And although we're not going to become a clothing brand, I just think, you know, if someone's behind the brand and they want to wear a polo shirt with your logo
Yeah.
on, and obviously from a sponsorship perspective,
Yeah.
getting players and
Yeah.
people in the industry wearing it. So it's always a good. But same for you. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't have a merch store.
Yeah, I'd love to do
And
a
you need to
bit more
think
merch.
about revenue as well, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a business. So
Yeah, that's the thing, because like I'm only really making money through the tickets, which is only a £5 a car.
right.
So
You have to pay a high
Sometimes-
fee and stuff to be at Greendale.
no.
Okay, but
nothing
I suppose
like-
they're
so-
selling coffees.
Yeah, so they're obviously making an absolute fortune, Thomas, if he's watching this.
Yeah.
um,
Do you get free coffee?
No, not yet. So
Come on,
maybe,
mate.
yeah, come on, Tom. I'm trying to do it. Although I probably shouldn't say this, but the staff gave me some staff drinks last time, staff teas. So
Nice. That's fair
I
enough.
won't say which staff because I don't want them to get in trouble.
That's fair enough.
But obviously, yeah. So the income I'm making from it is only from the cars that are coming. But
Yeah.
it's not like it's free for visitors and all that sort of stuff. So, but obviously summer's gonna come quick. So I want to try and make sure that we start planning some stuff now for
Sure.
April onwards. That's gonna like really benefit Cars and Cuppas.
Yeah. And how many people sort of come to it
So there was
on average?
one time. So on the last, we had to do the evening meet as well, which are cool. Like if we can get this nice weather, the sun shining, because you've got the sunset over Greendale and stuff like that.
Yeah.
On the last one, I want to say we had 350 people on the last evening meet. 350
That's really
cars.
good.
As in 350
A lot of
cars.
cars, isn't it?
A lot of cars. Whereas the last, so on the Sundays at the minute, because the weather's a bit awful, like people like Lewis and that, they're so uptight about their cars. If it's forecast for rain on Sunday, they will not bring that car out.
Bring the Defender over.
Yeah, you can bring the Defender, but some people obviously don't want to get salt on their cars, which I can understand with the classic cars. If you've got like an old 1960, exactly. This is my mindset, which obviously I own a detailing business, so people almost think I'm going to be really anal about cars, but I'm not. I'm the opposite. I'll clean people's cars and I'll make sure they're absolutely mint. But when it comes to using your car, I think just use your car.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so we get less numbers in the winter.
Yeah,
because people don't want to bring their car
that
out.
makes sense, I suppose. But 350 is good though. That's good.
Yeah, that was a mental busy night. That was
really good.
Cars coming up.
How many can you have there? Like, what's the sort of limit?
Probably 300.
Oh really? So it was busy.
It was manic. Yeah, and the other thing is now, like, obviously we're getting loads of the young car spotters and that come down. There must be like 40 odd.
Are they all from Exeter?
Yeah, so we get like 40 odd kids basically. They're probably between like the ages of, I don't know, 11 and 14. They come down and just take loads of photos of the cars and stuff.
Okay.
And where we park them at Greendale, we almost just sort of line them up in a bit of an angle. But some of the photographers, they haven't been moaning, but they just been saying, we want mix up a little bit with where the cars are parked. So I always want to space the cars out more, which obviously gives us less space to park the cars. But I think it would look sick, like if we can space them out a little bit better. Because, like I said earlier, social media, if everyone can take some good photos of the cars and stuff, because we get tagged in Cars and Cuppas and all sorts of stuff.
Well, that's good. So. Have you got? Presumably, you've got some good presence. I mean, obviously, I need to come along to one of the events.
Yeah, you should get down on the next one.
Yeah, we'll definitely try to.
Maybe we'll try and get Lewis to come pick you up or something in one of the cars, one of the proper cars.
The Chickachinto.
Yeah. Oh, imagine I'd be fuming. Like I said, I don't think it'll make it there. You'll probably stop at the services, and that'll be. You'll be ringing me up asking you to pick you up or so.
I do need to come. I think, to be honest, I
found
found
out.
The
Defender, because obviously we said earlier you got the Defender, haven't you? So
yeah, I've got a bit of an old, bit of a classic Defender.
People love that sort of stuff. We get there's a.
I do love Defender.
Yeah, they're cool.
Something about it. There's like no luxury. There's nothing special about it. It's just a cool car.
So noisy when you're in there,
noisy,
and all sorts.
Smoky. Yeah, but just,
they are pretty solid though, aren't they?
It's just one of those cars. Just enjoy driving.
How long have you had that Defender?
Probably a couple of years now.
A few years. Well, how much was it? Do you mind saying?
It's hard to find it, to be honest. So.
Is it all stripped out in the back? So it's not got any seats in the back, or has it got the?
No, so it's got like the fold up original like bench seats, but they're not in there, so they're obviously like been in there originally, I think. But
do you daily that?
Yeah, it's the workhorse. It's but for like the small festivals and stuff that I do, it's like the perfect vehicle.
Yeah.
I literally filled it up with. I can't even tell you how many hundreds of cases of like beer and stuff like doing a small festival, and honestly it's like one of the best vehicles for it because it can handle like serious
solid
weight.
Yeah, they are solid.
I think they're like 3 ton or something. I don't know. I know they can take a fair bit, and yeah, so I was like, filled up the back all on the arches. It was just solid lager, and like it was a lot lower, but it's had quite a lot of work done to it. It was quite.
You've been off-roading in it?
Done a little bit. Yeah, a couple actually. I went to Crediton. My parents live in Crediton, and basically got like farm fields everywhere, and I was just like
sending it around.
Go. drove down, and but yeah, no, it's a fun.
They're cool.
Vehicle,
they are.
and I'm just sort of hanging on to it and keeping it clean, looking after it. Although it's not clean, you just saw it. But
it's the weather, mate.
But when it's clean, it's been like
it's a nice colour that as well, isn't it?
Heightened, and it's got a nice spec and stuff.
Some people go mad on them. I was down somewhere the other week called Landroid. You've heard of Landroid in Marsh Barton?
Oh yeah.
They do them all up. I don't know how much people spend on them, but they must spend a serious amount of money because you can go to town on it, can't you?
Well, they hold their value. They're like sort of the old ones still like 20k.
What age is that?
That one is not telling you. It could be any year. No, it's 2004, I think.
Which is mad.
But it's got the spec of they didn't change shape up until 2017, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
In 2017, they changed the new one.
Yeah.
So if you had a 2017 or a 2000, they're pretty much the same vehicle.
It's mad. That's 2004, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 20 years old.
And
it's got the the bonnet of the so it's the TD5, but there's the Puma engine I think came after that.
Yeah.
Which had the slightly nicer bonnet.
Yeah.
It's got that bonnet on it, so it does look like 2017 or 2016. but it's still got the original like air vents at the front. That is the aircon. So literally like have to pull a lever and they open up.
That's
but
mental.
It's all part of the character. It just makes it like a really cool, and there's less for it to go wrong. It's just
I
was telling you off camera a minute ago that I had this opportunity to potentially, someone really wanted it and offered me a Discovery. And don't get me wrong, love the Discovery. Like,
it's a bit more luxury and stuff like that.
Really luxury family car, TVs in the headrests, 4 sunroofs, like complete different ball game.
It's like one end of the spectrum to the other. That
complete, is. But then it was like the more the guy wanted the Defender, the less I wanted to sell it. So I sort of realised that actually, these are desirable. They're going up in value. They're rarer now to find. And then
you think you just keep holding on to that. It's just gonna be good. Prices going up and up.
Hopefully, I'll give it to my kids one day or something. If I can afford to keep it, hopefully, we'll keep it in the family. But every mechanic I spoke to basically just called me an idiot. And they're like, because I was just trying to get advice. I was like, look, I appreciate. I'm happy to pay for your time. Like, I'm not expecting you to, because I know it's annoying to like ring up a mechanic and just get advice. But I was like, can you look at this Discovery for me? And they're like, so what's the deal? I was like, part exchange the Defender for the Discovery. And they're like, well, why would you get rid of the Defender? And I was like, well, yeah, I get it, but this one ticks a lot of boxes and kids and stuff. Anyway, I didn't do it. I kept the Defender, and I'm pleased.
Yeah, I bet you're glad.
Even my missus is pleased about it.
Really?
And she hated it at first. But
there's just something about them, I think, isn't there? It's just cruising around.
I mean, it's not luxury. I wouldn't. I mean, it's been maps and stuff, I think, but it's good performance, but it's you wouldn't want to go on the motorway for long with it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I think anything over 70 miles an hour, it's like just freaks out.
Things start falling off.
Yeah,
a bit like Lewis's Fiat.
Literally. But
I bet they've been good in the floods and that.
Oh yeah,
we've had so much flooding, haven't we?
Especially like looking for floods. It's quite
that's why I'd love to have one of them. Yeah, because they're quite high, aren't they?
It's been jacked a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think because I'm pretty sure that where the air vent on the side is, if some people have a snorkel, and stuff like it hasn't got that. But I think as long as the water's below that, I think you're pretty much good to go. And I just
send on through.
I drove through Broad Cliffs. They get that really bad flood. I actually I did freak out a bit. I kind of stopped. I had my little boy in the car, and I stopped. And I thought that's actually pretty deep. Like, how deep can I actually go? And I just
when it's on your lap, you know when to start reversing.
Well, I've got to swim out of the car. So no, it's cool, but it feels like it's sensible as well. It's not underrated. I'm not trying to be too flashy, and I've had some nice cars, and I love my cars. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you said you were big into cars.
If the business does well in the years, I'd love to be able to buy, Aston Martin's kind of like one of my favourites.
Is that what you'd be looking at getting?
Yeah, do you know what? I think if I suddenly came in into loads of money tomorrow and I could buy anything, I actually don't know what I would buy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know about you, but like some people have a dream car.
Yeah.
I think Aston Martin's always been my dream brand.
Yeah.
But
it sort of goes with the whole luxury watch lifestyle and stuff like that.
That's a little bit, to be fair. Aston Martin collaboration, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be cool. With James Bond or something like that, the new James Bond.
Get Henry Stay to do it. He did a shoot with us. We went for that James Bond vibe. It worked really well, actually.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
But
maybe I think to find an Aston Martin for you to do a photo shoot with or something like that.
It's just a cool brand. I feel like they've just got it right. I feel like all of their releases are just kind of next level.
Yeah.
On their own level, though.
Yeah, because I think they're the same. Like Aston Martin don't bring out a lot of cars, but it's the quality cars that they bring out. Yeah. Whereas like Ferrari, Lamborghini, it's still cool cars, but they bring out. Lamborghini and all that, and Ferrari. There's just so many of them. But Aston Martin, they don't tend to bring out loads.
True. But then it's like, I think everyone wants to own a Ferrari one day, don't they?
Yeah.
Or a Lamborghini. So I think, my little boy would love it if I had, he talks about Lamborghinis and Ferraris. That's that natural. And as a kid, I was the same.
Yeah.
So I guess, if you had endless selection, then obviously it'd be hard to choose one. But
I've got a question for you that often car people say is, are you a Lambo or Ferrari man?
Of Lambo or Ferrari? I don't know, That's a really good point. I actually, it's a good question.
Some people are.
It'd probably be. I'd say 10 years ago it would have been Ferrari.
Yeah.
But I think now it'd probably maybe be Lamborghini because I've got young kids and I think they'd be more blown away by it and it'd be more impressive to them.
Yeah.
But I think I'd probably rather own a Ferrari.
Yeah. Because Ferrari's got that. I think Lambo's a bit more Asbo, isn't it? Ferrari's a bit more luxury.
Yeah, there is a luxury element to it, but I think
Lambo's still a luxury car, but it's just a bit more of like an Asbo type feel to a Lamborghini, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I feel like if I pulled up at my house with a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, I think my kids would be way more impressed by the Lamborghini initially.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ferrari. But
Sorry, Lewis.
I think as they got a bit older, they'd probably lean towards Ferrari because it's got that luxury feel to it, and it's Ferrari. There's something about the brand.
Yeah.
Which I love. So I'd probably say I'm a Ferrari man over a Lamborghini.
Yeah. See, I'm more Lamborghini, but
we'll get like a Ferrari discount or something.
they are so tight, mate. Ferrari are the worst for it. In order to get like certain cars, like that Roma that Chasing Cars had, you've almost got to buy a few of them to get on the list for like some of the bigger Ferraris.
So you don't even get the chance to.
Some cars you don't even get the pickings to even have a look at it. You've got to buy like X amount, you've got to spend X amount. It's a bit like Porsche as well, actually.
Yeah.
I've never really a Porsche fan, but I like the GT3s and I don't know if you're into like track stuff.
Like the classic 911 Turbo.
Yeah.
Some of the classic ones I do really like. Quite like the bigger Porsche as well, like the big.
Is that Macan or something like that?
Yeah. Pretty cool. I mean, again, that's what I mean. I'm like, I'd be really fussy. I literally don't know what I would. I'd have to just have a massive fleet, I think.
Yeah.
Like one for each
Make
day of the
so
week.
much money. Yeah. I'd like to have my dream car's the Range Rover SVR, the Sport SVR. I don't know if you know that.
Nice. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
But that's like 5 litre V8. Because you think if every day, like wafting around in something like that, would be absolutely perfect. And
I do love a Range Rover.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they?
I do love a Range Rover. I've actually had a Range Rover Sport. It was a 4.4 supercharged.
Was it? Bloody hell.
HS?
Yeah.
I can't remember the model of it now, but that was a few
like
years back.
autobiography probably or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, it was. It was the most.
Was it for petrol? 4.4.
Petrol. It was the most uneconomical car ever. Like you literally see the fuel gauge like drop.
See the notes flying out the exhaust.
That was ridiculous. But it was at the time. It was like a company vehicle. I think I somehow did it through my business at the time, and it was like a leased one or whatever. I don't know. It was a bit of a stupid move, really. 'Cause it was a lot of money. It was like 2000 and.
Your fuel expenses that year were like way high.
Yeah, it was mad. But again, loved it though.
Yeah.
It had like a fridge. In the
Yeah, they do.
Center console, sorry.
Yeah.
That was a cool car, but I just loved Range Rovers.
Yeah. They get a lot of stick, don't they, Range Rovers, I think.
Well,
Did you ever have any?
aren't they?
Yeah.
Is that the latest thing with them?
Did you have any problems with it? Like in general?
To be honest,
Everyone said there's.
Other than running out of fuel?
Yeah.
No, like I think it was, but again, it was one of those kind of like, through a business lease deal.
Yeah.
It was new, so realistically, it never had any issues.
Yeah, like you say, at the minute they are getting stolen though.
Well, I keep hearing about that. It's like a thing now.
Yeah, like so the Range Rover Sport SVR that I just spoke about, they're like 140 grand car from, I think the last one was 2022.
Yeah. You
can look on Auto Trader now, they're like 55 grand because people can't insure them. Well, they can insure them. The people always say you can't, but you can. But you're talking like 10 grand.
But it's just so expensive. Well, because of the theft element.
Because of the theft, because it's so easy to steal.
See, my brother was talking to me about this the other day. He quite liked. He looked at an old. Well, funnily enough, it's old now, but like life flies by. I think the model I had, I got it new, but it was 2007, I think. 2008,
yeah.
Maybe 2008. And at the time, it seemed so like modern and the shape was so new for Range Rover. It's quite boxy.
Yeah, the boxy shape.
And now you pick them up for like $5 grand.
Yeah, that's mental.
Like
it's absolutely mental. Yeah, it's a lot of car.
Money. But
the older ones, I think, it will cost you more down the line in terms of because they get to that age of running it. Yeah, all the maintenance.
I remember it had like
yeah, it's got the armrest.
But you could raise it, higher it, lower it. Like
the suspension. Yeah, you can.
That was so cool.
Which makes it easier for me. Like when I'm cleaning Range Rovers, you can raise it right up so you can get to all the arches and stuff, which no one knows. Cool. Some people like have them cars. Like I've been cleaning them before, raised them right up, and the customers come out and be like, "What's happened to the car? Because it looks like it's on stilts when it's really high."
Yeah, I should drive mine lowered.
Yeah, they look
lower
cool.
It 30 mil or something. I remember it dropping
and then you can also drop into like access height. So when like you're parked up, they just sit really low, like sit even lower. Cool. It does look cool. So,
but yeah, now it's like, but then, do you buy one and have all those costs involved and insuring it and stuff? But that's why I feel like the Defender's a bit of a sweet spot because it hasn't got the luxury of the Range Rover, but it's just that kind of like robust vehicle to drive around in.
I'll tell you what, the new Defenders are stupid money at the minute.
Yeah,
they're so expensive.
I was keen to get one. I did look at it for a bit. Again, it's like you can afford it. I mean, they were just hard to get, expensive. Yeah. But they are. I do like them. They're just sort of different, aren't they?
Yeah, I like them all spec'd up.
The
V8.
He took me out on that. Yeah, V8.
I bet that fuel was ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they look cool and they sound cool.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't think you're going to get that sort of performance from such a heavy vehicle,
That's the
and it
thing.
just like blew me away.
It's the same as like the SVR and that. It's such a big car, but you don't realise how quick. And did you see the bonnet raise when you're flooring it and stuff like that?
It's crazy.
It's a lot of power. I think it's like 600 or 500 odd brake horsepower. It's a
Can't
lot of
imagine it's
power.
very good on fuel. But I don't think you buy that car for that, do you? But yeah, but then
I'm sure it's right for people like Jack. He's people like us, we probably run out of money.
Yeah, true. I think I assume he's still got it. Obviously, he's in France at the moment, but yeah, that was a
They look
big
cool
car.
because his one was all satin as well, doesn't it? So it almost looks
Yeah.
even stealthier, like when
Yeah,
it's
I
all
do like
blacked
that.
out. Yeah, I do like that.
See, we met up and I thought my Landy was cool, and it's the same sort of graphite grey, and I parked next to it. I thought, actually, it is a piece of shit. Like, it's actually quite old. But then in other lights or other
Thing is, some
scenarios,
people
I'm like,
really
actually
don't
so
like the new
loud.
one, do they? Some people like the
No.
traditional Defender fans.
A lot of the
If they
classic
see them two part together, they'd go for yours 100%.
True, that is true.
Because there's a lot of love for them, and they hate that people don't like change today. So they call it the Pretender. The new one they call
Is
it
that, yeah,
Pretender.
I've heard that one actually.
I've
But
got.
I've heard that that's the thing. I think if you've owned or have one of the classic ones, no one really wants to change it.
Yeah,
to
people
the
don't
new
like
one.
change, do they? I've got someone in the family called Cole. It's my brother's father-in-law, and he's got the like your Defender, but like, it's all armied up. I don't know, it's like a pre-war
Oh,
type
okay.
thing. And if you talk to him about the new Defenders, like I try and have a conversation about
He's
the new
not
Defender, they're
interested.
not interested.
So I've noticed a few people that know their Defenders, and they'll ask me about what car I've got, and I'll say I was like TD5 sort of Defender, and he's like, "Oh, proper Defender." Or is the new one not a proper one? But I get it now. There's a bit of a kind of.
Yeah,
Also, I like the kind of community that comes with having a Defender.
yeah. There's a huge community.
No, but
a
they
huge
love it. Honestly,
community.
I don't think I've crossed.
That's what I mean. If you
another
brought that
Defender
up to
hasn't
Cars and
made them.
Cuppas, I think you'd get a lot of people coming to look at it and stuff. And especially if there's a couple of
Do
you.
you reckon, or do you reckon they'll think it's like the work vehicle, that's like moving like trailers around and stuff?
Something to do with the farm shop.
Yeah.
No, I reckon if you can get a few of you up, I feel like a little Defender club, because that's what Cole does. He brings up like a couple of army truck mates.
Oh,
They all
okay,
park
that'd
up
be
next
quite
to each other. I'll send you some photos later so you can see what it is.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But it'd be cool to do something like we spoke about that Tim Foster in London. He does like
Yes,
a
yeah.
drive out type thing with Defenders. So it'd be cool to do something
Definitely.
something like
Yeah,
that.
that's a good shout actually.
But Dave, I realise we're pushing it on for time. Obviously, you've got
No,
to
all
shoot
good.
off. It's Friday evening. You've got family to go home to and probably some partying or
Just
something
fly
like
by.
that.
Chat all day, mate.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad, was it?
No, it's good, mate. It's good. I thought it'd be, appreciate the opportunity and.
No,
thought it'd be a
thanks
good-
for coming
good
on.
chance.
But one last question before you go, before I
Yeah.
let you go off to do whatever you've got to do this Friday evening. We've had a question that come in on the first one that I want to use on every last episode. So if you could build a car using 3 different brands of manufacturers, what would you build and why? So
That's a good question.
I can't remember exactly what I picked, but I think I went,
So 3
Porsche.
manufacturers.
yeah, so say like you can use the body of a Porsche, engine of a Lambo, and interior of McLaren or something like that. I think Felix had a Porsche with M2 handling. I can't remember what engine he went for, maybe a Ferrari engine or something like that.
God, that's a tough one, isn't it? I'd probably
It's
go for
difficult
like an Aston Martin for the body,
Yeah.
for the look, the style of it. Perhaps with a Rolls Royce interior,
Yeah, nice. I like the way it's going, yeah.
and then engine. I mean,
That's where you go TD5 Defender engine.
put a TD5 in there. It'll last forever. It'll do 1 million miles. Yeah, probably like a Lambo or Ferrari engine or something.
Yeah, that's cool. So Aston Martin body, Rolls Royce interior, and
Umbrellas and stuff.
yeah,
Um,
and Lambo engine.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Dave, I appreciate your time today, mate. I'll let you
Thanks
go.
for having me on.
Thanks for coming on to the Cars and Cuppas podcast.
Appreciate
We
it.
hopefully see you at some future events over the next
Yeah,
couple of
definitely. I'll
months.
be there. Look forward to that.
Awesome.